All right, welcome to the TNN podcast. Got a very, very special guest. He's our brand new head football coach, fresh from Brentwood Academy. It's head coach Brian Lilly. Coach, how you doing?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here and got to be down here in the studio. Never been down here before, so it's pretty cool, man.
Welcome to Topper Nation News. Welcome to TNN land. So,
yes, sir.
And I can't wait to show you the new one. We had a little sneak peek on our show. It's going to be second to none. I mean, we were talking a little bit before we started recording. It's going to be, the whole school they hit a grand slam with the school. I mean, some of the design stuff that they had, it's just big brain stuff that I didn't even think about, Yeah. And so what are you excited for most? I know the field house and some of the athletic complex stuff is going to come along a little bit slower than the actual building because they need to have the building ready first, but eventually it'll be all ready. What are you looking forward to the most?
I think what I'm looking forward to the most is seeing Dr. Schaefer and Coach Froden's vision kind of play out. I think that was the biggest thing for me was being able to, one, it's going to be so easy to sell this phenomenal facility that we have, right? Like $152 million school, like that's easy. But at some point in time, the flashiness, the shininess, all of that's going to go away. And we're going to have to build this foundation of the first class that goes through these hallways. And so the first class that graduates, which is the senior class, and the first class that becomes in is freshmen. And so I'm excited to see all of the hard work that the architects, Dr. Schaefer, all the people like yourself with your studio, all of that come to fruition. But at the same time, just to see what we're putting in right now in off season and build off of that over the years and see what happens with all of it.
Yeah, I know the kids are excited. And you mentioned foundation. Like, what are the pillars of that foundation? What are you telling the boys? Like, how's workouts going? Update me on that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So when I first showed up, I guess I've been here for 3 weeks and some change. Every day we've gotten more and more kids to come to workouts. And so we have a good nucleus of people. We've had more than we've had every day. We keep building, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
We're maxing out right now. So we're getting to see, what the good stuff that Coach Brady has been implementing over the course of the last, workload. I think for me, some of the pillars of success or the foundational parts of our program is work hard, improve every day, be unselfish, be the best, and to be a family. And so working hard, obviously self-explanatory, right? Like it's literally, you're the only one that knows how much effort that you give yourself, right? Work hard, improve every day. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse, right? Work hard, improve every day, be unselfish. I think that's the number one thing. I have a son that's 20 months old, right?
Right.
And he's like, he doesn't say mine yet, but he grabs this and he grabs this. And it's just
I'm with you on that.
It's just our nature, right? Like our nature as people is to be selfish. And so to be able to think about somebody else other than yourself and to set those foundational parts for these young men, obviously eventually to be husbands and fathers and family leaders, work hard, improve every day, be unselfish, and be the best. And I think that that's something that is a kind of like the sum of those other three things. Whenever you're able to work hard, improve every day, be unselfish, that will allow you to be the best. And then that's what we're striving to do, right? We're striving subjective, winning and losing sometimes success is subjective in the sense of it's not always about the wins and losses. We're developing young men. We're setting this foundation. We're changing the trajectory of their lives. But we want to be a family. And I heard PJ Fleck say this, at an AFCA in 2019 or something, where he said, "Forget about me, I love you." Right. And I think that's an all-encompassing thing of, I'm not big on acronyms, but I think that's a great one. To forget about me, I'm gonna put aside my selfish ambition because I love you and I care about you and you're my brother and I want to do things for you.
Exactly.
And then family just is pretty self-explanatory, and some of the people that I would say are my family aren't necessarily blood. So there's a lot of things that go into it. I think you can talk and you can say all these things,
right?
But at the end of the day, you got to have a foundation of discipline, accountability, and you got to put action into results.
Yeah, no doubt. And the piece that I guess people struggle with in sports, and especially today's generation, is the putting themselves before, or putting the team before themselves. That acronym I think sums it up pretty good. And again, it's just all about team building things and just getting them used to being around each other. Because, I think what they need to understand now is that, hey, we get to reset, and we get to reset this culture, and we get to reset how people view us. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people are fired up. Now, as far as getting more people in the boat, now you said your numbers are growing. How do we get more people in the boat versus who started out in the boat.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that one of the biggest things is what I've done as a kind of a philosophy is kind of come as you are type mentality, right? Like we're getting our Lawson workout gear and it'll be here post spring break, but you can work out in anything other than jeans, right? I'll give you some football pants, some shorts if you're in jeans, but to get those people to come around and as we've seen that what we've seen is it's been a kind of thing of, I love you, I care about you, but I want you to know that I'm going to earn your trust. And I've been doing that, earning their trust over the time. And so now it's becoming a thing where, hey, once we get back post spring break, it's time to lock in. And so I think that's a big thing. I think that one of the coolest things we have going for us is what you said is a reset of culture, of school, all those things, but also not forsaking the past, paying homage to the past of coaches like yourself, of Coach Moore, that may not be necessarily working with us anymore, but we care about and we know that the success that we do have is still contingent upon what y'all have done and the hard work that y'all put into there as well. And so I think that the coolest thing with the freshmen, the rising freshmen that are coming in, we've seen a lot of interest, and a lot of it is because it's shiny and new and all that. But a couple guys are going to be able to take a little bit of step of faith and to say, hey, I'm going to go to Lawson. And it's kind of trendy right now, but at the same time, we want to be able to say we can't.
It's got to have substance.
Exactly. But they can't say anything bad about our facilities anymore, about what we have or any of that stuff like there. But eventually it's going to come back to the substance, right? It can't be all talk. It can't be all glitz and glamour. It has to be the real deal. And so I think that our seniors, the people we have that are seniors, that Mason Hawk, Xavier Spratt, Tavares Mosley, people like that. There's so many more of them, those guys coming in and coming to every workout and being the leaders, leading by example, but also vocally, and being able to invest in. We're not big into seniority. I think seniority is a thing that was made up by some senior that wasn't very good.
Right.
He wanted people just to bow down to him, right?
He was a senior,
We want to be a servant leader, and we want to be able to say, like, hey, I'm going to do this. You'll see me picking up the trash. You'll see me doing all these things. So I think it's substance, and it has to be able to. It may be that I have to prove myself, and that's fine. But it's something I'm not, necessarily scared to do.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm excited for it, man. I think in talking to the kids, they seem very excited. They seem very encouraged that, hey, we're going to turn this thing around, because it hasn't worked out well for us, just culture wise. I mean, when I came here 6 years ago, it was even worse. It was pretty bad. Like the loser mentality. I mean, we were not far from a 1-31 stretch, where just first sign of trouble, it's all over, and they start becoming hard on themselves, and that's improved a little bit each and every year. And I think this bunch has become more resilient because they have gone through some of those struggles with teams past. So I think this group, they're young, they were impressionable, and I think they developed a lot of resiliency. So I'm excited to see that kind of play out as we shift over to Lawson. So, again, your senior class coming in, I know long-term goals is probably not going to be in their future, but what are some short-term goals you have? What are some long-term goals you have for the program?
Well, I think one of the coolest things we've done so far is just continue to do some competition things, right? So since we've had good numbers, what we're trying to do is breed that competitive nature in our kids, right? Like to get them to, it's interesting because, we'll put Mason out there and he'll beat everybody and everything, right? Because he wants to win. And, being able to do those things, of being able to, the simplest thing, right? Like doing a figure 8 drill and trying to tag each other, tug of war, mat drills, mirror drills, running up hills, and just getting them to say, like, there's a winner and there's a loser in life. And so I think that that's a big deal, because at some point in time, they're going to have to compete for the job that they want, the scholarship that they want, the person that they end up marrying one day. So being able to breed that competitive nature, and when it gets hard, to not say, golly, it's too hard, I got to stop. I think that's the biggest thing for us. But short-term goals, I think, is just setting the foundation of what it's going to be. What is Lawson football? What is the brand of Lawson Lightning football going to be? The cool thing with our district, we win a couple games, we get into the playoffs, but we're trying to we're taking everything, as cliche as it is, 1-0 each week, because I haven't even seen these guys throw a ball, catch, do any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But 1-0 each week, and just go out there and we walk off the field, be able to say we gave it the best that we possibly could, not catching the loser's limp or any of that kind of stuff when it going gets tough.
The Firebird flu.
Yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. Yeah. And so like those kind of things of not catching that, it was just competing till the end. Because I tell them, like, we're out there competing, and it's tough. And the great thing is they've never quit so far, right? They've never quit, and they're working. They're not complaining.
No. This is a good group.
And it's being able to say, like, listen, no one cares that they're up by 50 on you, right? Like, no one cares about that, because it might have been down by 50, might have been up by 50. It doesn't matter. You can control what you can control, and that's your effort, and that's you're working hard. And I think that's a big deal. But I think short-term goals is getting these seniors to set I think just setting the foundation of what the program is going to be, of what we're gonna be able to see as we move forward, to leave a great mark on these sophomores, juniors, and freshmen. I think there's going to be a lot of freshmen, and they're going to remember their first senior that whoever it may be, and pairing freshmen up with seniors just to have an accountability buddy there. I think it's going to be a big deal. I think long-term, obviously, we want to be able to be one of the perennial powerhouses, but that doesn't come overnight, right?
No,
that takes a long time.
Not for anybody.
And I would be remiss to say that, right? I coached at Brentwood Academy for X amount of years. We won 4 state championships in a row, but BA hadn't won a championship in 10 years before that, right? They didn't win it with Jalen. They didn't win it with Lawson, those things. And so it takes a lot, and there's a lot of luck that goes into it, but we have to go about building it the right way. And I think just being able to have our program, people wear Lawson Lightning football with pride,
right?
Out into the community whenever they see him and they say, hey, I saw Coach Lilly. You're Coach Lilly, right? Yes, ma'am. I saw one of your boys the other day helping so-and-so with their groceries, or I saw so-and-so, picking up trash, or that's what I want them to see. I want them to come out as better men than anything, right? Like I said it multiple times, it's our job as men to make sure the next generation is way better than we've ever been. Because this generation that we're coaching right now is going to be the generation that impacts our sons. And so that's what we have to be able to do. Like, we're going to impact them, but at some point in time, they're going to stop listening to us, and they're going to be listening to the next generation. And who are going to be those people? These are going to be the kids that'll be their bosses. So what is that going to look like? And I want to make sure that the legacy I leave, I'm going to be judged by wins and losses, obviously, but I want to make sure that people say, hey, no, he cared about me. He loved me. Yeah. I trusted him.
And that's more important, honestly, than wins and losses. It's all about it's about the experience. I mean, obviously you want to win every game, that that goes without saying, but it's about the experience. And I think if we can provide a good enough experience for these young men, seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, and the first freshman class to go all 4 years through Lawson, we'll have a great experience, and that's important. That's what me and my friends talk about. My teammates and I, we talk about that. We talk about the experiences, stupid stuff we did at practice, things we did on the, conversations and things we had on the bus rides, and, isolated moments here and there. We don't talk about, oh yeah, we went 6-4 our senior year. No. We did, 1-9 our junior year. We talk about, hey, remember this time, or remember this coach. This was a funny moment from this coach, or this coach, this coach something is usually comes, and what that something is can either be good or bad. So, and then however they talk about each other, that's going to be the most memorable stuff. So yeah, I'm psyched that you're here. Yeah, I'm glad you're taking the torch, and you're going to not only run with it, but sprint Usain Bolt style with it, and hopefully, you like the play on words there, Bolt. Good, Usain Bolt.
English guy, I can dig that.
Heck yeah. So, but Coach, last thing before we let you go, spring practice, what's that going to look like? Are we? I think our numbers are going to be good enough to have spring, right?
Yes, sir. So I think we're looking into getting into April, middle part of April, to being able to get on the field. But what I'm going to do is, I don't know if we've done it here before, but a lot of coaching's like a football school, just to take it from the beginning, because we got some guys that have never played, that are coming out, which is great. Anybody that wants to come play, come find me. I'm not hard to find. And we're going to teach them the game of football. We're going to talk about, I think everybody knows that there's 11 people on either side of the ball, but they may not. And to get, Coach Green to come and talk a little bit about officiating and get talk about what is holding and what's the curl, what's the flat, what's the A gap, the B gap, a 10, a shade, all those different things, and be able to get on the field and do some different drills. It may be pads, may not be pads. A lot of the helmets are still coming in, so we'll see from there. But be able to throw the football around and to see what we got and who's got the juice and who can go a little bit, and it may surprise us. It may be the guy that hadn't really done a ton. And so anybody wants to come out, if you're watching this, not hard to find. Come find me anywhere. Ask and you shall receive, and they'll find me, and we'll come out there. And we're just looking for just to having people that want to be committed to doing something special. That's the biggest deal for us. And so being able to get into spring practice, it's not necessarily the standard spring practice, but at the same time, being able to get out there and see what everybody's got, and then roll into the summer. And then one day we'll go to sleep and we'll have been here at Hillwood. The next day we'll wake up and we'll be at Lawson, and it'll be a whole new world. So we're excited for that. And I think that it's going to be a phenomenal experience. And I'm excited to be, entrusted with this program.
Absolutely. Well, to be uncommon, you got to do uncommon.
So.
And I'm excited. I'm excited for the direction of the program. I've got some ideas of how I'm going to add to that experience. So those are still in the works, but it's going to be not Hillwood. I'm so used to saying Hillwood football. James Lawson football is going to be an experience unlike no other in a lot of ways. And so we thank you for joining us.
Sure.
If you're interested, here's Coach Lilly. You can find him. You see his face now. So if you're unsure what he looked like, here you go. And I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Man, absolutely. Thank y'all. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, Coach.
We're out. Cool. On the back side of that, there's a little red button. Just press and hold that. And then